A very warm welcome back to ESL One Genting 2018. It is day 3, we're getting to the business end of that day as well. Our final team are yet to be decided. 5 are already in the playoffs. Well done to Vici Gaming, having become the 3rd team from their group to go through. It's the last chance saloon for the next 2 teams. EG go head-to-head with NaVi. It's another matchup that we've already had before in the first round, of course, of the group stages. That one was a best of 1. It went to NaVi that time round. Chance for some redemption now for our North American friends. And the Danes, of course, of Evil Geniuses. And we've also changed things up on our panel. Welcome back to Blitz and the Has to discuss this one. We'll start with Evil Geniuses. We've had the watchword for them is inconsistent, Alan. I think that's kind of appropriate because of all the changes that they've had and the drafts that they've had and the results that they've had actually in this tournament. But at the end of it all, they're just one series away from making the top 6, and I think everyone would then look at that and go, that's a good result. Absolutely.
Land Dota is really all about momentum, and momentum can change in a hurry. And EG had 2 straight losses at the beginning of this tournament where a lot of the issues that we've been seeing with them, starting in that, of course, that final of Galaxy Battles and going back before that, really were on full display. But 4 straight games later, during which they've averaged they look like they've fixed a lot of those issues and really have a lot of momentum if they can make it past this last series into the playoffs.
Doesn't seem to matter whether they have a bad draft or a good draft right now. Will?
I mean, I think they're having
they're
good
playing
drafts.
better.
But like for me, like out of the season, like the DPC, I think EG is probably the biggest disappointment so far.
Bigger than LFY.
Bigger than LFI. Because LFI, it was kind of expected, but the thing about EG is like no matter what period, it just feels like they're good. Like there were some rough parts with Bulba, like we won't talk about that one, but that was just, we'll skip over the Manila Major. But aside from that, like they're always dominant. Like as somebody who's coached like 2 different teams, when you go against EG, it's a different feeling because you know these guys will show up no matter how weak they look before an event or something like that. Like maybe they do bad and stuff that doesn't matter, but when it comes time to play, like the big stage, these guys will get top 3 or top 4, like very consistently. Doesn't matter what the roster is, they just keep churning out hits. And their organization, as a result, they have this kind of like aura, but I think a lot of that luster has been lost, especially in this season.
How do you measure them on their Galaxy Battles form compared to, say, VGJ, who dominated that and have gone out of this tournament before the playoffs? Are EG going to do the similar thing? Is it fair to kind of rate them in the same way?
It's a bit different because VGJ, they had a pretty rough road, right? They had to play against a very, very good Vici team. And in that regard, like, there's some bracket luck, of course, where, you know, sometimes a team that you're a little bit more familiar with, you're going to have a little bit more success with. And obviously, being sister teams, there's a lot of synergy there already. And so from there, it's probably just more of a strategic thing than anything. And when that happens, it's like, it's very coin flippy in that regard. It's like one guy has one good draft, another guy has another good draft. Like, let's see what happens. It's more random than...
Has its own little meta, doesn't it?
Exactly. Because they probably have a good idea of what each other is going to do. And so when you go into that, it's not as clear as some of the other matchups. Whereas EG, you know, they play against a TNC team that I'm sure they're very comfortable against. The matchup before that, I can't remember...
It was Penta.
They play against Penta, who
they lost the first game.
But they must feel pretty confident against that. And, you know, now they're 4-1. They're coming into a match against a NaVi team that... bodied them pretty hard in Game 1, but I mean Penta did too in Game 1, and look what happened.
And it's best of 1, so I think there's that sort of thing as well. Let's talk about NaVi, Alan. Do you feel like they're very closely matched right now in DPC terms, in that they are in that middle of that second tier, could go higher, could go lower, might just be on a slight rise?
I mean, again, I think it goes back to the conversation. I feel badly because I think it got blitz flame, but I go back to the very first conversation that Will and I had on panel when we did NaVi EG the last time. NaVi has shown that they're capable of beating good teams. They have not shown that they're capable of beating the top teams. I thought that newbie series at DreamHack 8 might be sort of a watershed moment for them, but newbie wasn't really in great form that tournament, hasn't really been in consistent form since. NaVi needs this big series win against a team that's playing like a top 5 opponent, and we just haven't seen them play quite that level of Dota yet.
Yeah. Is it enough to get them past EG, though?
I think, you know, EG, their biggest opponent in this tournament so far has been EG. We talk about the unevenness of the drafts, but to me, I go back to just the in-game execution. They had that NaVi game. I still believe with those two lineups in the first game of the tournament, all they needed to do was avoided 3- and 4-man chronospheres. They put themselves exactly in the situation where they were going to be walking into those. I think as long as EG makes good decisions and as tried as it sounds, plays their game, they'll probably win the series.
Okay, we're going to move towards the draft. As you see, the players are just getting themselves ready for that draft. Will, what do you want to see Fear play? There's been a few question marks over what he can play in that mid and whether his new version of the modern mid is suited to certain types of hero in that lane. What do you think suits him?
I think that the Viper DK kind of style is a little bit more reliable, and especially, I mean, when he played Lycan, he balled out of control. I was a big fan of that. Like, let this guy carry you sometimes. Right. I know you have Sumail and Arteezy, but this guy, he's still one of the best carries of all time. Like, he can still get the job done, and I think it's just short-sighted to, you know, not let him do his things once in a while.
Why?
The bans are in, and the first pick is a Tusk.
Why?
Why would you let that go through?
I mean,
if you're going to let it go through, let it go through game one.
Look,
but still,
you said that the very first game that we covered, TNC versus EG today, and I was thinking about Bane, and you said immediately, no, you should be thinking about Tusk. You were absolutely right. NaVi had to see those games earlier on. It's a little bit of a puzzle to me. Again, a lot of teams have been banning Chen against EG. Gaz talked about that this morning, speculating that maybe they had looked really good with Chen and scrims. Misery, definitely a signature Chen player, but the Tusk of Crit, it is his signature hero, the hero he burst on the scene with. He just does so much damage throughout the game.
And it's a meta hero right now.
Yeah, for sure. What place do you secure, by the way, for winning this match?
This will be top 6 if you win this one.
Top 6.
Yeah.
And top 4 get points,
7-8
right?
if you lose.
What?
Top 4 get points?
For 16 teams, I actually forget.
I think it's a bit deeper than that, but
yeah,
I'll
I think it is. I think it is
a
little bit deeper than that. I think maybe 8 teams.
Points wise, it is
top 4.
Top 4.
Not
Yeah, 40 points.
Okay, so this is really interesting.
Yeah.
So Void has been sort of steadily climbing the ladder. In this tournament. Interestingly, we have seen a little bit more 1-position Void than we have 3-position Void. Crystallizes Void is actually quite brilliant. This is the hero that he used to beat EG in the opening game of the tournament.
10 seconds remaining.
And the Sand King, another hero that they play quite well. Play it in 3 roles.
Yeah. I think Crystallize has been sort of similar to Ace for me in what he does for NaVi.
And that's a great compliment.
Yeah, in terms of what they bring to the table, I feel like Ace was probably the best addition so far that we've seen in the DPC, but aside from that, next two are probably Crystallize and Roger. That improved their team the most.
Agree.
At the same time, for me, when we were having that discussion a few days ago, NaVi, yeah, everyone kept telling me they beat VP in the Adrenaline Cyber League. Come on, I don't care about that.
Who cares
and I don't
about
think if you ask the NaVi players, I'm almost certain they also don't care about that.
But I did think the
didn't lead to
newbie
points.
series was significant.
The newbie series was pretty good. They were, but then when it came, who did they play right after that? Was it EG or something?
I think it was
like
EG, and they lost. And that's, I mean, that's fine. You know, EG had a really good day of Dota that day.
I would like them to really show. For me to say NaVi's back, I need them to win this tournament, or I need them to at least get a close second.
I honestly, I just don't. I just don't think they ban the right heroes.
I'm not feeling it because
I think the PL ban is just a huge mistake.
Yeah.
I'm actually just kind of frustrated. Yeah, so if you're Navi and you take 3 heroes off the table, I can't pick too much nit with the Misery Chen and the Misery Bane because he has dictated 2 games in this tournament, 3 games in this tournament with those 2 heroes. But I don't think you can allow EG this open. The Tusk that's going to lock down your early roaming, that's going to lock down your team fight, has that AoE save, and then the Fear Lycan, which just... You know, you asked Will earlier what kind of heroes I want to see. Does he want to see Fear play? I think Fear is so good on these tempo controllers, these tempo carries, pushing carries like the Lycan that can get a little bit down, get a little bit behind and farm and still do their jobs. The game that we've seen Fear struggle personally the most in this tournament was the Dragon Knight, where he got underfarmed, and Dragon Knight, when he's underfarmed, loses a lot of his pushing ability, loses a lot of his fighting ability. Lycan can fall within reason behind and still be a threat to push towers, still be a threat to gain your team map control.
Yeah, keep flexed, Havost. No stress.
Everything's fine.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't want to be mean, but I think you're overreacting here a little, Alan.
I hate allowing EG that open.
I feel like
I really do.
we can calm down.
All right.
NaVi, 100%. Like, they had to have known EG was going to do this. I think you will afford them a little bit more patience. It's only the first 2 picks.
But what's your the thing is neither of these heroes, maybe Tusk, but Lycan is one of those heroes. How is there one hero that counters him?
I mean,
I
that
don't
Rider's
think-
sick. That Rider destroys him.
Yeah, but then there's so much left in the pool that can neutralize the bat. You've got the Abad and you got the LC left in the pool
I'm
that
just
both
saying,
fit.
it would be very silly if NaVi has a really good idea for it and they end up winning. Then we would look like fools.
Fair
Alan.
enough.
Well, and that's part of the first game in a best of 3, isn't it? That you
Yeah.
actually let them have the things you think they're the best at, and you have a
No,
plan
but
for it to try and beat them. And
This
if you
is
don't, then
why-
you ban them.
This is why I talk to Blitz about Dota, because he's just, I'm an emotional person. I get excited about things, and he just turns me down a little bit. It actually really helps the analysis.
I mean, objectively speaking, you're completely right, Paul. You're playing a best of 3. Like, you know that EG is very reliant on this Tusk, and they've won all their games with this Lycan. If in this best of 3 you beat this, then NaVi has all the confidence in the world because you know that you've taken away their 2 best weapons.
However, they have picked a 1 on 11 Witch Doctor.
Is that what the hero stat is
Yeah.
now? 1 in 11?
Yeah, he's been pretty bad, and
But as we've always said, he's a position 5, and you don't really care too much about position 5 stats. Just look at the
I
teams that
actually
have been
think they're
running him.
important, but
well,
I can differ with guys.
Yes.
That's sly. I think that.
I think 1 on
stats
11
lie.
starts to become a bit of a worry to me.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I don't-
if it's 1 and 5 and it's a 5,
See, that's
okay, whatever.
Exactly. I think it's a matter of magnitude.
1 in 11 in this tournament?
Yes,
Yeah.
1 in 11 in this
Yeah.
tournament. See,
I'm chill.
there's a reason,
You're
guys.
just making me believe more in NaVi, honestly, Alan.
There's a reason that stats are numbers, right?
Yes.
A stat, when it may not be meaningful most of the time, but when it gets to a certain point,
Yeah.
I think you start to
Yeah,
you start to
what
take
is it?
another
What is
look.
it they say about doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different
the
result?
classical definition of insanity.
Indeed.
Yes.
Damn, dude, I really just want to say Navi's going to win.
Radiant
Like,
Go for it.
Hey,
I'm-
hello.
I am comfortable.
So this has been getting a lot of bans today,
Yeah,
but
it's a
mainly because we had the 2
signature misery
Vichis playing each other.
So Coddle is... He's a sick way to deal with the Void as well. Like,
Yep.
Blinding Light's almost always useful in the mid-game. Obviously, there's a lot of utility too in Mana Leak for pretty much against all these heroes. It just allows your Lycan to further chase out as well. And usually, there's a lot of different pairings that you can do for it. Like, you're not pigeonholed into anything with this Coddle. And it allows you to play very fast around the map. Because he's one of the few support 5 positions that can farm and just shove out waves non-stop.
I think Cuddle is one of the best supports in the game at playing from behind.
And now we have an idea now of
Oh
why they
my
picked.
God.
This is why they picked the. And they're laughing now. Like they're smiling. Like you saw Fear smile, Bulba smile.
That
Yeah.
is so disgusting. And that can go a couple different. That might be a Kornaga.
10
What?
seconds.
I think that's definitely a Kornaga.
Has to be, doesn't it?
I still think you can run. I actually think I've seen Sumail play Tusk a couple times, so I think you can still run Tusk Kornaga support. But yeah, I would lean toward a Kornaga as well. I just think this is such a sick EG draft. I think Coddle, if I learned one thing about Coddle from Liquid playing at TI, is that Coddle is probably the best support in the game at playing from behind, because he gives you guaranteed split push.
I think that's.
Has to be a Kornaga now.
I think
mean,
that's
Misery
like-
will play Coddle and Crit will play Tusk, right?
No,
Yeah.
well, probably, but I'm going to hold off on it in a minute because I have seen Sumail Tusk in the past.
Sure. I think it's like 95%. Because they have no like Navi's not gonna catch this Naga. This is a very free Naga game.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think this Naga is more of an issue than this Lycan is. 'Cause
It's interesting when I've listened to your draft analysis for like the last couple of events, you tend to focus on if there's one core hero that just has a completely free game, and those have usually been right.
Yeah.
Is there something about has that always been the case, or do you think that
No,
that's
because you
something
can,
more
you can
about?
do some outplay stuff at the same time, but like it kind of if there's like one hero that like
10
absolutely stomps the
seconds
game
remaining.
and it's really hard to win, then it's like certain games you see a TB and there's
5
no
seconds
counters to it, and
remaining.
you know he's just gonna
Yep.
win the game. And then there are other games where the cores just match up well, or you get a sense of like how they're gonna approach the fights, and it might be a little bit different as a result.
They tied up with the tide.
Yeah, so I don't think this
definitely
is
Kornaga.
yeah, or unless our tour is gonna or Fear gonna play Core Tide. So they see the reason why they see this Naga
10
open
seconds
and like
remaining.
why the Coddle works well in this is because so you know that something is going to come with this
5
Coddle, right?
seconds remaining.
And you look at the enemy team on the side of NaVi, and they don't deal with these illusions well at all.
Yes.
I know a lot of people will look at it and be like, well, you have a Witch Doctor, but this guy will die to Radiance.
Exactly.
And the Sand King is okay at dealing with it, but the Night Stalker does absolutely nothing, Paul.
Yeah.
Like this Ennis, he actually can't kill her.
And so
the only way is the Void Chrono, but even that is like, it's considered slow because it's a very long cooldown. Like this guy's gonna have to go like Battle Fury, Shadow Blade or something and just like pick this Naga off. But it's unreliable because if whoever plays the Naga is somewhat careful, then he can just play like very passively, and he still has this Lycan that can carry him too.
Yeah, and so the only question, once you observe that, the only question left is you have some sort of static lane configuration that's going to totally shut down the Naga and delay her Radiance to the point where that gets offset,
Yeah.
and they just don't.
You need to aggro this or something like that, and then maybe you have a chance. And so NaVi goes through this DP because they understand they understand like where this game stands for them.
Yeah.
Like they have to play fast and try to end this.
Do you quick question before we get your views on the draft. Do you have nicknames for any of the heroes that aren't the actual nicknames of the heroes when you're playing with friends?
I mean, Tidehunter's Watermelon.
Right, exactly. Okay, so do you know what Az is for Cole?
What?
Alan.
Ow. I like that.
I'm sorry, buddy. It was just one of those things I had to kind of reveal, just get it off my chest. Just because, you know. Who's playing Alan? It's just funny to me. Anyway, let's let's get your views on who had the better draft. That was a fantastic draft for EG, wasn't it, Will?
Yeah, I think I wanted to say NaVi because Alan was like so against them, and out of spite. But I think EG will win this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is 80-20 EG.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, gents. Let's head towards our first game and leave you in the capable hands of our commentary team and find out who takes the advantage in game number 1.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and here we have EG versus NaVi, an incredibly exciting series and some incredibly exciting picks.
Yeah.
Well, maybe more towards the sort of, no, well, I won't say the emote, but you know, the Nagasaran sleepy side of it, potentially with the way that they've decided to go. But they've got a lot of high octane action as well. They have that Lycan that we've seen EG have a bit of success with recently, Fear on it, of course. But yeah, this RTZ core Nagasaran. Talk to me about this, Trent. Why have EG decided to do it, and why is it good this game?
I mean, it looked great. I thought Blitz had a lot of great examples there on the panel in terms of the illusion clear. It didn't look very good for NaVi. They already had that Coddle too, and that's when you're like, huh, Coddle, they don't play that very often. I wonder what their plan is with this. And then it comes out with the Naga. So a hero that used to be much more common, way more powerful and popular, but she kind of fell off due to certain nerfs and everything. But Coddle is one hero that's always been so good at enabling the Nagasaran. Early on in the game, she wants to rush into that Radiant. She can't afford to go for Boots of Travel. But this Coddle guy, he pulls her all around the map. Oh, come over here, farm some creeps. Oh, come over here, farm some more creeps.
We're certainly going to see RTZ get a lot of farm for sure with the way that they can play. NaVi's lineup though, some very comfortable heroes, of course, for themselves. As the panel was saying, we have that Crystallize, Face This Void. The final finishes, the Den DDP. You were saying to me you wanted to see sort of a bit of damage come out with the final pick. Do you kind of feel that the Death Prophet fills that void that you felt NaVi had?
Well, someone has to fill the Void's Chronosphere.
That is
so,
true. Hey.
We'll hope that she can get it done.
I did that you did with what
yeah,
I did.
That was nice. Yeah. Wow, alley-oop, I believe, or a one-timer, as we say in Canada. But I think Crystallize probably a relatively rough game. Not only is the Naga Coddle, of course, good in a combination, both Naga and Coddle are very annoying for Faceless Void. Yeah. When it comes to Faceless Void, you're going to be throwing up that song, dealing with the Chrono, and then you just can bounce either the heroes from NaVi, you can actually bounce into the Chronosphere to disrupt them during that, or you can bounce the Faceless Void out. And that's along with, you're blinding them, right? And not going to be a fun time. He would have to build into like a Manta or something to deal with that. These poor heroes that like to just pound away in a team fight, like a Night Stalker or something, he can't afford anything to deal with that, so that reduces some of his damage. Overall, just not a very fun time. And then you look towards, hey, there's actually some more team fight from EG. We're dealing with the Ravage just flying over on top of that, so Song setting that all up. And if there have been two heroes that have looked good for EG, it's a Fear Lycan and a Crit Tusk. So overall, I have a very hard time handing this one over to the side of NaVi. But if they can get that speed, maybe find a bit of momentum, use those first few exorcisms exceptionally well, and take some objectives, they could find the win here.
Absolutely. And if there's any time going to be anyone that can fill and hit the Cronus that he needs to, even in games like this where it's hard, it's going to be Crystallized. First blood though, Seneca out of position, Crit blocks his path off with the shards, and Misery will claim first blood. Be careful down there. I mean, EG we've seen recently have been very good at this sort of lane composition where they do have RTZ farming on the aggressive, Crit sitting around with him, and to be fair, a lot of the time both supports hovering around him during this lane stage, and it's worked a lot of times for EG here this tournament.
Yeah, and for the that tempo that they kind of require for NaVi, they've decided to put that Night Stalker in the off lane. They want to use the actual full lane to him to give him as much of an acceleration as possible, so he's going to be strong enough to propel you into that mid game where you know you're going to need this control to actually take this victory. But that means he's in a pretty bad matchup versus a Tidehunter. Sumail's going to have a totally free lane. He can bully that guy a lot.
I see Roger having a look towards RTZ. They do have the Paralyzing Cask as well as Crystallize coming in, and they should be able to get this one. RTZ taken down as quickly as I was saying how well they've been running it here with these aggressive sort of lanes. They can't afford to do that, giving away RTZ's life on the aggressive. So NaVi finding a dream kill really for them in their own safe lane.
And now Roger going to try and attempt something mid here, but you can see Fear, he's at the 1-0-2, so this level 3 Lycan, he can pretty much lane anywhere with that wonderful region he gets from the Pharaoh Impulse. It's a full wrap from the Sand King now.
And they have got the Maledict onto Miseries. Roger going forward with the Burst Strike. We'll see if they have enough damage. Crystallize looking to close the gap as well on the sidelines. Crit and RTZ going on to Snake, but he goes straight with the heads up TP out. He'll escape. Misery won't be quite as fortunate. NaVi get the kill. Also at the same time, NaVi were able to find EG's courier. I believe maybe Denny moving in on the mid lane was able to take it down. Bottom lane, NaVi, they're not done. They come back in with a 2-man Burrow Strike. They're still trying to trade hits with RTZ. Will be forced back by the looks of it. But NaVi, yeah, the second kill, taking the courier out. These are some, big things for the laning stages of NaVi.
Yeah, even with the removal of Poor Man's Shield, Nagasiren still very tanky in the lane. 7 armor just to start with. Already has the magic wand as well. So they got that first kill on RTZ. The next one certainly won't be as easy.
Mid lane, we'll see in a moment. Level-wise, pretty similar between the two of them. Dundee and Fear going at it 1 for 1, 19 for 7 on the D. So Dundee getting quite a lead in that 1v1 matchup for the time being.
The more you start to think about this game though, and that's just like this Lycan and this Naga and this Coddle, so much wave push, so much lane push, just shoving them out from their side of the map, forcing heroes back from NaVi to deal with it, and then you look at who's going to handle that. I mean, your best options are basically Crypt Swarm and a Sand King. And overall, it's just not going to be able to keep at that same pace, so they got to find that momentum here. Things have gone well so far.
Talking about the Sand King as well, came with the Burrow Strike, onto Crit, they have the Maledict, a lot of right clicks as well. He should be fine with the Fountain regeneration as he TPs straight back out. But with that play, they're able to take away the bounty ring that was Crit was looking for inside the NaVi's half of the map. Bottom lane, Roger and Snako. If you're looking to play onto RTZ, a little bit off there. Get back his spam, Roger realizes his error, as they will back away. I mean, even if it did connect, unlikely really they would get the kill as RTZ was pretty much at full health in that situation. But mid lane, we're seeing, Dundee, he was able to force Fear out of the lane. Fear had to go all the way back to base, and the CS difference just continues. Top lane, Sumail in general manning up with one another. Sumail will come out on top with the magic wand. So Sumail does get that 1v1 kill. So certainly good things happening for EG on the top lane. The middle lane, definitely not so much. I guess it's expected that the Lycan's going to struggle, but Fear is really falling behind. Bottom lane, Crystallize, just as time what came back off cooldown. He was still not able to use it. They have the control taken down. But again, look, Fear comes into the middle lane and forcing him back very aggressively. Dundee taking great control of this 1v1.
Yeah, and he's still struggling to get into that ring of health. And as we all know about Lycan these days, he does not like buying boots early. He wants that helm as soon as possible. The boots don't do anything for your ultimate anyway, and that's when you're making your moves across the map. So that feels like some wasted gold. But when you're laning against a Death Prophet, boots tend to be pretty handy. So very nice start for Dundee.
Yeah, it's a very hard lane for Fear. I mean, a little surprised we haven't really seen EG try and offer a little bit of a help for him in the middle lane with regards to maybe Crit moving across, but I guess they just see more value in trying to make sure that RTZ does get the farm down here. And he is. He's 23 for 7 on the Nagasiren. Is ahead of Crystallizes Void, who's sitting at 16 for 6 at this time being, but definitely he does not have the same lead that is going the way of NaVi in that middle lane.
Yep. And although he went down in the top lane, I'm actually pretty fine with the way that General's been playing up there.
He's getting a lot of farm. He's getting a lot out.
He's playing nice and aggressive too. So he's not just like backing away from the anchor smashes and being like too forced back off of it. Now the problem will be once he actually hits 6 on the Tidehunter, he could just think about going for some solo kills. At least constantly threatening with that Ravage.
Misery still sitting down here with Arteezy. There's the wraparound for NaVi. Roger with the invis. He's looking for an opening. Goes straight in with the burrow strike onto Arteezy. Managing to follow through as well. They have the cast. I need a couple of good bounces really to get the kill, and they don't get it. No bounces for the cast back towards Arteezy, so he'll be able to walk away. Will manage to escape. General
I like this.
already coming over to the mid lane during this night time, bullying Fear, making sure that Fear is kept behind and will continue to struggle to try and catch up. Bottom lane again, Roger looks for another burrow strike. Seneko once again with the Maledict. Will they get the bounces that they need? No. The cast bounces down bottom. It doesn't matter though. Crystallize comes in with the Time Walk, gets the bash. Arteezy taken down. Another kill for Navi's tri-lane safe lane.
Yep, and why is this happening? Because Crit's been kind of pulled in towards that mid lane. There's this issue with the Death Prod versus the Lycan. Crit's like, well, if you're going to jungle, I want to absorb these lane creeps in the mid. That's kind of a waste. And so with just 2 heroes down bottom, much easier for them to pressure and kill Arteezy. So now we have Dendi and Crystallize getting a little bit of room here.
Top lane though, of course, Samael pretty much sitting there top CS. 42-12 on this Tyrant. We've seen it many times before in this land. Samael has just had some absolutely amazing games where he's been able to pull the team through. The sort of question is, can he do it on a Tidehunter?
Yeah, that is the real question. It's like, you think if this was like a Puck or something, or even like a Clockwork, he's done very well on so far with his off-lane plays. Fear.
Fear will
I don't know if this will... Yeah, he's this burrow strike, so no big D.
Navi don't get the kill, but yeah, forcing him to use that, always sort of eliminates the threat of a Lycan.
Oh, I like how he
TP'd
TP'd top too, because they want to try and set up a kill.
Okay. Let's see what they can do. It is a big Tyrant. He's level 7, 4 points in the Anchor Smash, has the Ring of Health. Well, they're going to give it a try with the Maledict. Oh, okay. With that amount of magical damage, it's going to be more than enough to make sure that Samael will probably does turn with the Ravage. He's looking for return kills, but he won't quite be able to get it. Navi get away with the kill and don't lose a single member.
That feels bad when you're playing Tidehunter. That's one of the worst. The first Ravage isn't that important, for sure, but you really want to try and use it just for a free kill, because it always feels like a freebie, you know? Someone's always playing too close to you, and they think, oh, he's not going to always Ravage just to kill me.
Lane looking for Crystallize. Does have the Time Walk to the nuke damage flying through from Misery and Arteezy, so should be fine for now. Not quite the level 6 on that Void. Rotations from Navi supports. Seneko, Roger moving towards the mid lane. Dendi's putting the pressure on. Samael's TP'd in, but of course there is no Ravage. Samael's got to be careful in case the supports find an opening onto him. Bottom lane is EG looking to dive straight in onto Crystallize. He does still have the Time Warp, but he's rooted up to get the chance to pop it off. He pops those 1 charges. That looks like it's still on cooldown, so won't be able to escape. EG are able to claim the life of Crystallize. Same time, Navi do take the tier 1 tower. Trades continue. 1k lead at the moment for Navi, but very, very close. And Samael, I think, as you say, he needs to do something big with the Ravages. So we'll keep our eyes on him in 80 seconds and see what he's able to do when it's back up and where he looks to make an effect. EG though, with that kill onto Crystallize, they are able to overrun the lane, push it down, and will be able to find a tier 1 tower themselves as Crystallize just heads straight up to top and has no interest of being around it. Roger will actually come down to pick up some levels, but he is definitely going to be on his own for a while. Yeah, they get the snowball across him. Roger may have made a bit of a mistake coming in. There are going to be mass TPs. In fact, Navi, they want to find Roger. He's going to be fine. They can look towards Arteezy. Arteezy gets the song off in time. Does he have he doesn't have a TP though. We'll see if they're able to close with a Time Walk to Chrono, but it looks like they, just a little too far away. So EG get away. But Navi actually managed to keep that tier 1 tower alive, which we see a lot of teams sort of just let it be and let it go down. But Navi say, no, we want to keep control, make sure it's a lot harder for EG to invade the map. But look at this aggression.
This might be setting up for the next Exorcism here, as DP's also nearby.
And look how close they are to one another. Arteezy and Misery, they do not expect this wraparound at all. This is incredibly smart from Navi. Arteezy heading into the sidelines. TP coming in from Samael, but he still does not have that Ravage. Look at the silence onto Arteezy. Arteezy still continues to back up on the side, though. Dendi gets caught out. EG Samael finds him. Roger will jump in with the burst trap, but I think Navi may have dove a little bit too deep now, because EG, they're ready in full force to find the return play and get those kills. Roger cut down as well by the Riptide. And what looked to be starting off to looks like a smart movement. It seemed that EG were ready in the long run. The TPs came through, no hesitation. They didn't even need Ravage. Ravage is still going to be there for the next play. And EG get 3 kills.
Man, look how much vision they had in that area, too. And still not able to secure that. Definitely not a good sign here for NaVi. EG with some good plays. But that's kind of what Fear was waiting for, you know? He's just kind of hoping for this moment where he can actually just pounce. He hit a rough lane, and the farm speed isn't that great. But with that helm, with that level 6, he's very good at grabbing these aggressive creeps. You know, he doesn't care about catapults. The whole time he's been playing these Lycans, he's getting the Centaurs, he's getting the Trolls, and he's going for kills.
Alpha is slowly, surely making that recovery this game. I mean, he is on par with Crystalliz's farm.
DP has set up top, though, with the Exorcism, backed up by the Witch Doctor. And yeah, we're going to pop it. So time to see if EG want to try and mount another defense here.
Oh, look at the rise on Roger down bottom. Fear to move in, trying to get that root off, but can't quite close the gap. Keep their eyes on towards top.
It's a DD rune, too.
Yeah. This wraparound from Sumail. Sumail's actually come in on the top, starting to play around with them. He's going to get chronoed straight away, though. They're trying to eliminate him before any sort of threat happens, and they'll get it. Sumail maybe overestimating his sort of survivability with that Tide Huntress. He knew the heroes were there, waltzing straight up to the high ground from low ground without vision, and it costs him his life.
Oh, and look at that. Seneko instantly dewards the crit ward.
Oh.
Get the deny. Oh.
Tier 1 does still stand up top, but NaVi should be able to finish it off here. Misery does reveal his location with the Illuminate. In general, level 8. She can start pulling Arteezy a little bit. Level 7 on the Naga Siren, 2.4k towards Relic. As he does continue to make that phase Radiance rush.
And despite a disadvantageous lane for the Night Stalker, he's doing relatively well. He's almost caught up to Fear. He's into that big second nighttime, and he's going to go for a set of drums here to try and enable himself and his whole team. See if they can get some stuff done before the 16-minute mark. We haven't discussed it yet, but also we have the Night Stalker countering the Keeper of the Light, but we also have the Lycan at the same time. So it was kind of a shitty pick and a situation for NaVi, because you're like, okay, well, we can counter the Coddle, but once that Howl starts getting leveled up, these fights are going to become more difficult if we're popping that during them. So it'd be interesting to see if maybe this engagement for General doesn't pop it, just for that specific reason.
Oh, look at this General. He's found himself a solo kill. The poor old Keeper of the Light out on his own in the middle of the night. General will find it. He's actually going to move across towards Sumail. There's TP's coming in again. Sumail,
the Ravage.
He is entirely on his own. He does have the Hood. It's going to back him up a little bit, but it looks like no response from the team. They are almost certainly going to dive the tower for this, as NaVi realize that EG, they don't seem to give a damn about Sumail just dying on this top lane, as NaVi move in, claim the kill, Tide is down. No response from EG whatsoever.
Oh, surely they won't dive me this deep, guys. 5 under tower with Ravage? No way. I'm fine. Push mid. Get lanes.
NaVi will be able to finish off that tier 1 tower up top. Fortification popped, and NaVi continuing this wraparound back towards mid. Seneko and Roger leading the way.
Yeah, look at the posture. They know where they're coming from.
Crit and Fear could maybe look to try and take a chance. Well, with General there as well, it would be a little bit questionable. So Crit and Fear indeed keeping themselves hidden. On the side of it, trying to hide up. They will manage to take down the Helm of the Dominator creep.
I like that with the Burrow Strike too, because he was kind of thinking about a play, I think, where, you know, might be able to get a net with my ulti. Can we get a kill set up here? Finally a bit of space for Misery down bot. He's going to get a little bit of pushing action there.
Space for Arteezy as well, to be fair.
Misery snags some of those creeps.
And Arteezy will be pretty close to that Relic now, I'd imagine, on the Naga Sound. He's had that space, yeah. He's got enough money for the Relic, so Radiance is going to be there at very reasonable timing for this Naga Siren. So we'll just have to see. It's been a long time, really, since I've got to see a core Naga go to work. So we'll have to see the sort of impact the Radiance Illusion push is going to have on a lineup like NaVi's. Can these heroes deal with Naga Siren shoving in multiple lanes, farming jungles at the same time? It sort of begs to
doesn't look good, no, I would say.
It has the potential to be very scary for NaVi's lineup.
They need to secure quite a bit here, and as we move closer and closer to that 16-minute mark, as we're going to start transitioning back to the daytime, I wouldn't say they've got that much done in this period for the Night Stalker, but it's also a time when everyone on his team's still farming up those core items. They might not be strong enough to go into the Roche Pit yet, and so they're just hanging around, hoping for a couple more pickoffs, and Sumail has kind of been the target for them so far.
Looking towards him again. Roger straight in with the Burrow Strike. Maledict upon him. They'll put the Death Ward. They need everything to bring down this Tyrant, and there should be enough. A lot of damage coming into him before the Maledict ticks. He's going to try and TP back, but the damage is too much. Roger gets the final touch. Another death for Sumail. I mean, as I was saying, Sumail has been having some great games this land, so I absolutely understand NaVi. They just want to shut him down. They want to make sure they get the kills on him, so that Sumail has a hard time to have an impact this game.
There is a wolf in the pit, and the sentry doesn't see it, but it's unlikely to have an impact here.
General actually finding Arteezy to the side, but maybe at the same time sort of ganking the play from EG. He may not even go down if he could do this one around. It is nighttime. He's pretty speedy. He's actually going to look to try and get the kill with him. He gets the kill. I think he's going to get out. He is. General takes down Arteezy underneath the noses of Crit and Misery. He should indeed fall to Fear. Surely he can't get himself out of this one as the Wolves chase him. He's trying his best. He's pretty down speedy, but the shot's not going to reach General. Surely he dies here. The Necro unit's chasing him as well.
15 armor.
He's trying his best. He can't quite make it. Fear will claim the kill, but absolutely worth it for Na'Vi. They take down Arteezy and they get Roshan without any sort of contest from Evil Geniuses.
Under a second left until he had that flight. But yeah, 100% worth it. But we do continue to have a relatively even game in terms of the net worth.
It's all about this Arteezy Na'Vi in terms of EG's powerhouse. And Fear, of course, as well. He did have that very tough time in the mid lane, but look at this man's net worth. He's first on the board for EG, only slightly behind the Death Prophet now. So a very impressive sort of just composure from Fear, the classic Lycan, head to the jungle. Get involved for the easy kills, but make sure that you can recover, and he absolutely has. This Lycan still going to be a definite threat, and we've seen it already a couple of times this land. Fear on his Lycan, seeming to be, I'd say, the best hero that he's performed on.
Yep, sure. And we do have our Battle Fury done for Crystallize. That's his big item of the game. I don't know how I feel about the Battle Fury in this game, to be honest. Obviously, it's very good against a lot of summons, like the Lycan. It's very good up against these illusions, so we need something to deal with it. But is it going to be like fast enough? Like, could he have done more?
I think you do need it because illusions and summons.
It's the meta. It's the time. But you kind of wonder about that opportunity cost of putting in so much money into something that comes so late. Like, could they have actually pressured more with some earlier items? Maybe he could have went like something faster and then into the Shadow Blade a bit earlier, and then you could be killing this Naga again before the Radiance is actually done. Whereas they got that one kill from the Night Stalker at the near point during this recipe, but it looks like Arteezy is going to safely make his way to the rest of that gold. So those are the kind of things where Battle Fury takes away from your heroes in those moments.
Sure. Yeah, there's no denying Arteezy has been having all the space in the world. After sort of those initial deaths in the laning stage, he has hit his item timings for sure. 18 minutes in, the Radiance is going to be complete. Snake will be able to grab that haste rune away from Crit. Liking the itemization as well from the Night Stalker. He's going straight for the Heaven's Halberd, and this, of course, is going to be brilliant in the fights as it will pretty much render Fear useless for a good few seconds of his shapeshift. If he can get it nailed down onto the Lycan, that disarm.
And let the game begin for EG.
Here becomes the farm game. Radiance Naga versus Battle Fury Void.
And what's truly terrifying about it is that Lycan can just explode and destruction. You know, yeah, you play against this Naga and these illusions, and you look at this lane that's close to your tower, some tier 2, some tier 3, and you're like, okay, well, it's just creeps. We'll go back there in 20 seconds, in 10 seconds. But then suddenly this Lycan comes out of the fog. He ults, he pops his Necro Book, and he destroys the buildings before he can even get there. So playing with their glyphs is going to be super important for Na'Vi this game.
Some smoke on smoke here. Na'Vi on the low ground. EG coming around from the tower. Crystallize is going to spot them. He's going to jump straight in away. Is he going to pop the Chrono as of yet? Looks towards Crit. Crit gets the chance to snowball. Crystallize trying to pull him back. Does have the time. We'll back up in a second, but he'll turn, try and bring him down. But the song's there from Arteezy.
Okay, that is song before Chrono. That's
and that is going to set up a big ravage. Samel, he's in position, ready to blow it. Catches out 3, pops the Aegis on the Void straight away. They'll look towards Roger. Roger gets the Burrow Strike up to the high ground. He'll be fine. General backs away. Crystallize as well. Should be fine for the second time round as they do look to retreat. Meanwhile, Fear looking for the rats on the top lane, pushing in onto the tier 2 tower. EG continue to chase. They have their eyes on Seneko. Top lane, Dendi actually setting up, playing around with this Lycan. Na'Vi might be able to get the kill here. They put the epicenter to follow through, but it's not quite enough damage. Fear still with some remainder of the shapeshift, able to run away. Crystallize, jumps forward, 2-man Chrono. Is the damage there? I don't think it's going to be. It's only between the two of them. There's not much that Na'Vi can do off the back of that, and Seneko's got to be careful. And Illuminate's going to be flying, and he has to get out of there. He'll do it through the grave. He's out of the game. Crystallize is being rooted up. He's also hidden. He's got the Shadow Amulet standing in place. EG do not have detection. They won't be able to catch him, so Crystallize will survive. But overall, EG getting the kills, Fear managing to stay alive, and a lot of big ults being used by Na'Vi there to no success, not getting anything out of the side of EG.
You could see it. He jumped in around that tier 2 in the mid lane, and that instant hesitation. You know, he can't throw this Chrono. He's like, can I even hit these 2 heroes? Do I want to Chrono these 2 heroes? And then from there, once that jump's revealed, once the ploy is out from Na'Vi, that's when EG can start their play. They get the song, they get the Ravage, and Fear does what he does best. He just rats away in a game where it's just going to be constantly this from EG.
So this is the scary thing for Na'Vi. You sort of blink for a second or look away from the lane, and bam, the Lycan takes the structures. They have to be prepared for it. And they tried their best there, as you saw, with the Yule setup into the epicenter, but still not quite enough damage. Roger trying to come in. He desperately wants to clear out some of the army of the units. He will get a fair few of them.
Could be baiting EG back in here.
They don't have their ultimates, Na'Vi. It's a hard fight for them to take. We'll see how they can go about it. Dendy falling low. In fact, they're going to go straight onto him with the snowball. Yules it himself up. Roger's going to take the Walrus punch to the backside. Crystallize moving in. Still no Chronosphere, though, of course. They're going to lose Roger. Crystallize has to time walk away. He'll be fine, but a bit of an awkward attempt there from Na'Vi. Their lineup very reliant on having their ultimates at this stage of the game to fight. But nonetheless, they decided to run back into EG and ended up feeding the life of the Sand King.
I think they feel that it's the same way for EG, and they know that they need to win engagement. So like, this is still a good opportunity for us. We have to try something. But then Crystallize is like, oh yeah, but I'm a faceless Void. Like, that hero, especially when you have nothing but Battle Fury, is just going to feel so weak without the...
And this is the scary thing. RTC is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
A slightly delayed Radiance there, as Nox points out. But of course he was aggro trying, and he got killed a couple times, so definitely understandable.
I mean, it's not the fastest, but at the end of the day, you know, even though it's 2 minutes later than the faster ones, you know it's still... As long as you're not getting after the 20-minute mark, it's always going to pay for itself in terms of how much you could get and achieve in terms of the farm that he's picking up. And we see that at the moment, both him and Fear. Top 2 net worth as well, of course, down to the objectives that they've been able to claim at this stage of the game, which is still relatively young, just 22 minutes into this one, 11-9, EG with that 4K gold lead at the moment.
And think if you're EG right now, and you just look at where these waves are, and you just say to yourself, okay, if my Coddle is up top, he can pull someone in, like the Lycan, and he can just start doing his thing up there, and instantly some building is gone if they just mess up for a second from Na'Vi. Or the Naga can just boots of travel in somewhere else. He can just go one place down illusion, start pushing in the wave, and then be teleported up to the top, either by the Coddle, or you can use the boots of travel, and then start pushing in that wave. It just kind of starts to feel impossible unless you get these big ganks. You have to break this like big combo chain that EG have going. And Crystallize's going to try that here with the Shadow Blade. Oh, that's a good hero.
He's coming across, Roger. Gets the Burrow Strike to open up some air. Actually going to put the Ravage. Only catches onto the Faceless Void, and it's not going to be enough to kill him. He's able to time walk off. Fear comes forward. And he'll be able to silence up the Lycan, but Crystallize, he's in trouble. The rest of EG turn up, and Crystallize is down. Na'Vi poking around a little too long, a little too deep in EG's half of the map to get away with anything. And losing their Void like that, it's going to keep Crystallize further and further behind in the farm, make it much harder for him to sort of equalize the power and net worth that both Arteezy and Fear have. He currently sits about 2.5k behind them. The difference is going to get even greater if they keep attempting for unsuccessful plays like this, Na'Vi.
You can tell it was a real desperation play because there wasn't even vision set up. Like, they were going in completely blind.
Trying his best to play around with them here, and he may just make it out. Indeed, with a quick Burrow Strike into the tree line, Sandstorm TP's out. Mid lane, Fear ready to push in with the ultimate. It's got the Purge on Snako, slowing him down. Snako turns with a Maledict. Can they keep that man alive? They can. They'll be able to force the Lycan back. Snako's able to get himself back to base. But still, more and more map being taken over by EG. As we can see in this game, and Na'Vi, they do have this line, they do have a Death Prophet, and still themselves unable to really pressure any tier 2s, and it's getting to the point where they may just have to wait and try and take a fight that EG, sort of force. Na'Vi just play the benefit of having the high ground potential and trying to get something big with the Chronosphere. They do have the completed Shadow Blade on Void, so there's definitely potential to find that opening, but it's going to be hard with the way that EG are playing, very much separated up. We have very rarely seen more than 3 heroes together. It's always Fear, Arteezy farming opposite sides of the map, which makes it very hard for Na'Vi to decide where they move, who they want to try and make a play on, because you're never going to get both of these cores in a fight.
And if you pop that Darkness again, then you're dealing with this massive Howl. He has reached level 16. They're there, 4 points. So good luck ganking someone if that thing gets popped up there with a double value at night. And Arteezy also closing in. Can we just... It's pretty much the Alchemist build at this point, honestly. Naga was dead for so long. This is a Naga doing the Alchemist build.
I mean, so I was going to talk to you about this as well. So, as I said, we've not... I mean, me personally, I've not seen a core Naga in terms of pro games for quite a while. So, is there a reason why he goes straight for the Octarine rather than the Manta? Does he just work out better in terms of farming?
Value.
With the lower cooldown on Mirror Image, those illusions being obviously a lot better, a lot more in terms of the duration and stuff.
Yeah.
And the uptime compared to Manta illusions.
I think there would be some players who would probably still go for the Manta just because of the value in this game up against the Night Stalker as well as the Death Prophet. You could see that, but He's feeling pretty safe. They're definitely ratting enough that they're pretty much dodging all engagements anyway, so that's not really his main concern, I would say.
Yeah, I guess that's, because he's not really been in a position where he's threatened by any sort of silence from the Night Stalker at all. And it makes
so
sense
much backup this game.
Yeah.
Waves are actually surprisingly pushed out, I would say, for the Radiant at the current moment. They actually look kind of okay.
General doing his best to try and shove out top. He's pretty much got that halberd complete. Crystallize on his itemization. Just going for the BKB.
Look at those misses.
Yeah. He needs that magic immunity definitely for the fights if he wants to have a chance of getting
Look at this BKB and MKB queued up. That's not a fun game for a Void, you know? He needs this BKB 100% so that he can't get blasted out of the Chrono. Like, there's no question at this point. And it will help him through the Ravages, it's going to help him through all the other control and everything, but...
I mean, once he does have those two items, it's definitely going to be scary. EG, of course, whilst NaVi are elsewhere on the map, they're able to get in, get the Roshan. Actually picking up the Aegis on Samel as well. And again, I guess that sort of goes back down to what we've been saying. RTZ and Fear, they've never really been in any sort of danger. It's been Samel really that's died the most out of the course because NaVi have put a lot of hate towards him. General gets caught out top. Bottom lane, Crystallize making a go here. They do have the Death Ward from Seneko, and with the Maledict upon him, RTZ will certainly go down. That's the sort of tried and tested combo that we've seen over the ages. Chronosphere, Death Ward, not a lot that can survive through that.
Yeah, it's definitely the only way they have a chance of killing him is with the Shadow Blade and when they see heroes on opposite parts of the map. But with the way that EG were just able to so safely take that Roche despite no pickoffs or anything like that, again, it comes back to the way that EG pushes compared to the way that NaVi does. And they're so visible. You know, they have nothing that can... he can't send illusions to push any waves. It's either a Void standing on a creep wave, a Night Stalker standing on a creep wave, or a Death Prophet standing on a creep wave. And you're like, okay, that hero is not at Roche. Let us go.
Look at this. Roger trying to rev up the epicenter, but Fear, he had the micro, he had the units upon him. Roger could not close the gap. Epicenter wasted, and Roger's life also in severe danger. He's not going to be able to get the chance to blink out after the Yules as Fear turns that gank around.
Oh, beautiful ice shot, super crit. Falls into Seneko with the medallion.
Still be a little careful, not quite enough damage here upon crit to finish off the kill. But quite the game indeed. 14-10, 6k lead for EG. Definitely looking to be very much more comfortable in their hands in terms of their two cores. RTZ and Fear still growing pretty much untouched at the top of the net worth. And the farm that these heroes have, they are going to be a huge issue for NaVi to take control of. Seneko.
They have the Ravage. There's no song.
Yeah,
there's also no Chrono.
Yeah, they're letting that man down. Seneko's out of there.
And that's going to be our Octarine core here. Okay. Courier starts heading to that dire secret shop. Oh, okay, RTZ will just go there first.
Pretty good time. But I'm just impressed that Fear's keeping up with Radiant's Naga. That's
also true.
He is farming like an absolute beast. I'm quite literally. Here's the line. Here we go. Up into the base, forcing out fortification. Oh, hello, who's that behind us? Crit says he's found himself Roger. Roger.
Desperate times.
A lot of difficulties there.
Desperate measures. And
no buyback on that Sand King. No Sand King for 50 seconds. EG, they've got the Aegis. They absolutely can go for and try for a high ground push. Misery's going to pick up the gem. EG are going to continue to expand just the vast amounts of map control they have. You can see Crystallize sort of poising himself, looking for a Chronosphere, but he really had to get something miraculous. Oh no, Roger's just done this, General. You can't follow suit as he just goes around the back again. No, I mean, he's down as well. EG just happily turn and take him.
He just wanted to be buried next to his buddy.
I guess he's trying to sort of, pull the creep wave away from the base as well, trying to do his best to slow it down.
Look at those big green arrows on the mini-map, though. All pushing in.
Look
Slow Naga push.
Fear down bottom. They'll have to sleep on middle as RTZ allows the space for Fear to just go ham down bottom. This sleep, meaning that as soon as they wake up, the racks down bottom are gone. Crystallize will come in with a two-man Chrono, pops the BKB. That's a good amount of damage onto RTZ, but the Glimmer Cape should keep him fine, as well as the Urn, healing him back up. As bottom lane just got absolutely cleared up by Fear. This is sort of the horror of power of EG's lineup, that sleep Lycan combo. There's literally no way to play around it. If RTZ gets 3 or 4 more heroes in the sleep, your racks are going to go down.
It just felt like such a, I don't know, the way you knew this game was going to go. If they didn't explode like crazy from NaVi, it's just, I don't know how they have any answer to this.
This is,
It was clearly a very well-prepared strategy. Maybe something that EG has like ready in their book, where like if the opening of our opponents does not feature any good wave play or anything, you know, the first 3 heroes or so, we just whip this out. Like, okay, what are you gonna do now?
I mean, I really think you got to think twice before letting EG have. I mean, Lycan for definitely one thing, but then having the Lycan and the Naga Siren, that's.
Yeah, well, especially the Tusk, honestly. Like,
I mean, Crit Tusk. He's been. I think he's had loads of games as well where he's been allowed to have it. And, he's very much seen to be in the sort of perfect zone to play Tusk over not only this LAN but also in the previous Galaxy battles. We saw some great stuff from Crit on Tusk.
Yeah, I admire trying game 1 and trying to beat it and everything like that, but I would be pretty surprised if they left the Lycan in it. I feel like it enables everything even the most. I think Crit can still do a lot of similar things on a lot of position forwards, but the Lycan is just... He has so many different options. He can rat and he can also fight very well, and Fear's just quite excellent.
You go again to sleep here. Samel tries to find a position to set up. Crit jumps in with the time walk, and they do manage to get the silence onto Fear, but he's already got the shapeshift out. Samel comes in with the control from the Ravage Crystallize, does get the chance to time walk out of it. Then he puts the BKB. He's trying to move in onto Samel, but Samel, the big old side hunter, a little too tanky for Dendi to deal with. NaVi have to back up. NaVi trying to do their best to hold EG off the racks, but Fear comes back in with the walls. Will look to take it down. They do manage to get the 2-man chrono, but NaVi, they've got 2 members that walked into it by the looks of it. Fear's going to get the chance to pop the cheese. Can they bring him down? They try, but Crit's in with the save. Jumps in, picks him up in the snowball. Will be able to keep Fear alive for now. Crystallize trying his best to man up, but he has to time walk away. And out of this one, Dendi gets beaten down by Samel. General in the mid lane rooted up, and GG well played is called. It's all too much for NaVi. EG running away with this game very confidently out the back of the lanes. They looked a bit rocky elsewhere. Crit with a huge smile on his face, as that one's got to feel pretty good. Anytime a team gives you Lycan for Fear in this LAN, as it seems, you're going to have smiles on your
It's one thing to like have a good draft that feels synergistic, but they also just had so many straight up counters, you know? Like you have to play Void against Naga, against Ravage, and then you're dealing with this whole Night Stalker Lycan situation. Lycan obviously very advantageous because they're just howling away for tons of HP. Pretty much everything possibly like terrible against the heroes on EG was on the side of NaVi. So pretty hard to win a game after that.
Absolutely. I don't know if we'll see any more Fear Lycan if NaVi have anything to say about it. I mean, is there anything else you think going into the next game, say from sort of Navi's side of things, that they may change, that you felt didn't work out from their hero pickups?
The speed of like maybe just adjustment, I guess, in the middle of the draft. It felt like there had to be some way to increase that speed. I don't know if Death Prophet was enough. Perhaps something more kill-centric or something for Dendi, where he could, rather than just like going for the structures with the DP, maybe they could have found a way to like create a threat across the map so it was harder for them to go for the split push, maybe a little bit more catch. Might have to pull some old tricks out of the book or something. If they were pulling out things like Coddle Naga, which aren't that common.
Let's get the mid AA out.
Give me a Dendi AA, Dendi Lina, I don't know, something like that, where you're just trying to get some slaughter going, trying to disrupt these plans of EG, because it was well laid out, well thought out, and then just well played from EG.
Absolutely. Game 1 going to Evil Geniuses as it stands. Don't go anywhere though, we'll be straight back over on the casting desk. For now, we'll pass you back over to the panelists to hear what they have to say about EG's success.
Yes, thank you very much, Trent. Now we'll come back to our casting team, of course, for game number 2. Good game for EG, not so good for NaVi. And to break things down, we're back with Blitz and the Haz at the desk. Alan, we'll start with you. What do you make of that?
I hate to sound like a broken record because I really do believe in this NaVi team going forward, but I just think they made it very hard for themselves with that draft. When you commit to that first phase Void, a team like EG is going to have counters in place for that because they've seen the crystallized Void. You allow the first phase Lycan and Tusk, which are just such difficult. They're heroes that EG plays well, and they're heroes that are difficult to counter in this meta. I just feel like NaVi need to give themselves a chance in the draft in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned, Will, that if you're going to do it in Game 1 at least, because you've still got a chance of winning the series, but there weren't really any answers in there for that, was there?
I mean, there's a larger issue. It's like, okay, so you feel very comfortable with your Void, and you're representing, like, I'm going to first do this Void, and this is, like, my GG hero. Try to beat it. And it's the same thing for EG, right? It's like, they're 2 openers that they're the most comfortable with. And I was saying, like, okay, NaVi should be prepared for this Lycan. And maybe they were later on into the draft, but then you take the Naga, and it just checkmates you.
Yeah.
You Chrono, she sleeps. You Chrono, Blinding Light, it doesn't matter. And they have you checkmated on 2 fronts, because you show your most important hero in the game. This hero can't function as anything else. Like, Void is a very obvious hero in this regard. And so NaVi were saying, like, counter it. And EG was like, we have. Like, really hard.
Yeah.
And I think you, Trent pointed this out close to the end. I think you compound the problem when you pick the Night Stalker into that. I mean, you look at the Night Stalker game. I mean, I thought his rotations were on balance very good in terms of the pressure was there, but the kills just weren't. Right, you're rotating in on a tight hunter, and there were even looked like some small coordination issues where he got a kill on Misery in the jungle. Sumail kind of stayed out in lane, so they got a lot of pressure. Almost got a kill on Sumail, but at the end of the day, you're just asking so much of General. He can't be everywhere on the map. He can't deal with a situation where his hero's ability is actually helping the enemy Lycan. Again, I have to write this off to draft.
Yeah. So you take, and then they take like Night Stalker to counter Coddle, because this is the most classic pairing, right? You show Coddle, okay,
but then he
gets an
Lycan.
Axis useless, but then the Lycan of course gets helped, and more importantly, it's like you counter yourself into another position because this Night Stalker does nothing against the Naga. Yep. She's not afraid of him at all. At the point that she gets Manta, there's zero chance he can kill. He can't deal with the illusions like a lot of other offlaners could. Like, imagine if Tide was on the other foot. He'll just Anchor Smash, shove in the waves. He doesn't care. At some point, he'll get a Shiva's. It'll be okay. But Night Stalker, their purpose is literally, we have to kill them so many times that the game ends, and there's nothing else that we can do.
Well, and you think back on like the Blitz Dota theory of drafting, I'm starting to call it, where you place a lot of weight on one big core that's going to be able to have a free game and really take over. Void is that core. He's not a pushing or utility core like the Lycan is. He can be played as an offlaner, but the way Na'Vi run it, Void was going to be their big core. He was going to have farm priority, whereas the Lycan for EG doesn't have to have that big farm priority. Once you commit to that Void, and you know he's going to be played by Crystallized most of the time, and you know he's going to be that big core, getting him counterpicked is a much bigger deal than getting the Lycan counterpicked, and it's much easier to do. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about this because I do like this Na'Vi team. I think they have a chance in Game 2. They just got to change their approach.
Okay. I mean, from your point of view, Will, was there anything in there that you know, despite the draft, that Na'Vi can draw upon in terms of positives?
No, I think the game was honestly unwinnable. Like, there's some drafts where I'll say, like, okay, despite the draft, like, it's okay. Like, you can make comebacks in this game if you do X, Y, and Z a little bit better. But in this game, I think, like, they were against such a heavy wall. Like, they did an okay job. They got kills. They set a gold lead early. Didn't matter. They had to kill them, like, 30 times. EG had to mess up so massively in this game for Na'Vi to stand a chance. Like, the score would have to be 30-6 at 25 minutes for me to say, like, Na'Vi has better than a 50% chance to win the game. And that's not even, like, guaranteed. I'm saying, like, maybe 60% chance they win that game at that point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good stuff from both of you. We're headed to a break right now. This is a best of 3, so Na'Vi do have a chance to come back in. And despite a bad start to this tournament, the Evil Geniuses are starting to look like a bit of a steamroller going through this lower bracket. We'll find out after the break whether they can continue that and head in to the quarterfinals of the playoffs. We'll see you soon.
To spot them, he's going to jump straight in away. But the Chrono as of yet looks towards Crick. Crick gets the chance to snowball. Crystallize trying to pull him back. He does have the time, we'll back up in a second, but he'll try and bring him down, but the song's there from RT.
Okay, that is song before Chrono.
And that is going to set up a big Ravage. Sumail, he's in position, ready to blow it. Catches out 3, pops the Aegis on the Void straight away. They'll look towards Roger. Roger gets the burrow strike up to the high ground. He'll be fine.
I want to get in there. Wow. You dead? Yeah, I'm dead.